Hi, everybody. I'm Roxanne Dangers from Time of Metal, and today I'm here with Morgue Meat. Guys, how are you?
We're
Hi,
pretty good, Roxanne.
we're all doing really good.
Doing well.
That's awesome to hear. Well, guys, thank you for joining us today, and for all the people in Mexico that maybe discovering Morgue Meat for the first time. How would you like describe a little of your scene as a band?
As a band, we're traditionally a Texas death metal band, very old school roots, but we try to blend in as much new school death metal elements as possible. We also have a blackened death metal side to us, so it's very much a very raw, visceral sound.
Okay.
Um, you know, anything you guys want to
Yeah,
add?
no, we definitely try to mix things up. Try to bring something a little different, but at the same time trying to keep the core elements of your traditional death metal. So make it a little different.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the beginning. Like, how did Morgan Mead like first come together?
That was a long time ago. So we all met in high school. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, back in 2009,
Yeah,
2009, 2010.
yeah,
Yeah,
2009,
yeah. So
2010.
we all went to high school together.
Oh, that's nice.
And then, yeah, I remember I met up with Sergio because I brought my bass to school one day, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to be in a band?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Then we found out James was a drummer, and then we got him, and then yeah, and then throughout the years, we've been on and off, but for the most part, yeah, we stuck together since pretty much high school, long time.
Okay. And since that time, you were like the three, like the same alienation.
Uh,
Yeah, we've always been a trio, right?
No, we've gone through different stages. We started initially we started as a duo with Manuel Velasquez on drums and me on guitar, and then we recruited Mark, and then unfortunately, Manuel Velasquez passed away, and James Harada joined us. And then we continued throughout the years. We've added members, so we've had two guitarists. We've had, I think, at one point we were a five-piece where it was two guitarists, Mark on bass and drums, and I was on vocals.
You play
So
drums?
no. It was who was on drums? Misael.
Oh, okay.
Misael was on drums. So we've gone through so many stages, but we found that a three-piece is the most effective way to represent, what we want to sound like.
Okay, guys, that's very impressive. So you keep on the project, and in the start, talking about the beginning again. Do you already have this vision of what you wanted to do, like in your sound, in your lyrics?
Initially, the band started almost like as a hardcore band project, the hardcore punk
Okay.
band in the style of Casualties and Cryptic Slaughter. But then, we kind of discovered bands like Prophecy and bands like Embalmed, and we wanted more of a brutal death metal sound. So it shifted from hardcore punk roots to brutal death metal, very instantaneous. And from there, it was just, kind of finding people who had the like-minded direction, right? So we found Mark, who he already liked heavy music, and it was just like, hey, look, check this out. And James, initially I saw him wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, oh, this guy, he likes heavy music, right? So it was just finding those links, and ultimately it evolved into our sound. And again, we have elements of what we all like. James is a big jazz guy, so he had some of those elements to his drumming. So
There's a lot of like comping styles in there.
Yeah, and I was
You're
really
like
big
really
into
same.
yeah, I was really big into thrash. I was really big into Metallica and Slayer. So we were able to kind of incorporate some of the thrash elements into our music. So we do have a nice blend of a lot of stuff.
Wow. Guys, like I did my homework and I see like a lot of you. I can see that you have like Mexican and Salvadoran roots. It's that right?
Mhm.
So how do you incorporate this to the gender, to all these elements that you tell me?
That's an excellent question. As far as like, I have Salvadoran roots, Mark has Mexican roots, and James.
My last name's Mexican.
Okay,
Uh,
it
my
counts.
family
It
didn't
counts.
really embrace the culture.
Yeah,
My dad is like second generation. My
yeah.
grandpa didn't really push that onto him at all. He wanted to seem as American as possible.
Yeah, but in terms of those bands, like Disgorge from Querétaro was a big inspiration to the songwriting. There's a death thrash band or death grind band from El Salvador called Kabak that
Mhm.
really inspired me, in terms of writing and the direction I wanted to go in musically. So those elements really shined, and of course, we know we'll be playing the festival with Transmetal. At one point early on, when we started playing, we actually covered one of their songs.
Hmm.
We
I
covered
remember that.
Reino Maldito. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's that cover on in stream or we can find anywhere.
I don't think we
No,
recorded it.
there's not
No,
recording.
okay.
It's
We played it live. It was part of our set
Okay,
list for like a year.
okay,
and then this is when we were still in high school, so
Yeah.
we were
okay.
like 17 years old.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Texas you can't really get away
That's
from the Mexican roots.
okay. It was like a long time. You say that next you're gonna be performing in the same festival as Transmetal. How do you feel? Is your first time here in Mexico?
No,
No,
No?
no,
Ah, okay.
yeah, we were in Guadalajara last
Okay.
March, and
Oh,
then the year
nice.
before we were in Mexico City. Yeah, so
Okay.
and
we're
we
gonna be
played a
doing
show in
that.
San Luis.
And San Luis also. So yeah,
And so this
yeah. So we
next,
were
not the
in
first time.
Mexico.
Yeah,
But it's gonna be our
So
first time being in Hidalgo.
okay, right.
Mhm.
So for all the people who are watching this interview, Morgue Meat is gonna be playing this June 13, I think. Yeah, it's correct. In Aquelarre Metal Fest. And guys, are you excited?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, very excited.
Oh, I love playing in Mexico.
Yeah, it's always fun to visit.
Yeah, it's a
So,
really good crowd. They've got a
and,
lot of good energy.
and then to play with a group like Transmetal, I mean, that's gonna be big.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a major point in our careers.
We are like very, very excited to see you, to meet you there. But let's move on with your first album, Mutilation in the Chapel. Guys, can you talk us about this album debut?
Yeah, so Mutilation in the Chapel, it was years in the making, right? So most of those songs we wrote early on in our band history. So they were kind of just a collection of that. And then I got together with a guy by the name of Misael Solis, and we kind of wrote four new songs for that album. So we had never had a true release, right? So prior to that, we had just been playing the same songs live, but nobody had any physical media. We got together with a local producer by the name of Irving Lopez, and he owns a studio called Imperial Studios out here in Arlington, Texas, and he kind of gave us a chance to have an entire almost week in the studio. So
Okay.
we spent an entire week kind of brainstorming and recording on and off, but ultimately it culminated to that project, Mutilation in the Chapel. I think it was inspired by where we grew up, right? We grew up in the Webb Chapel area of Dallas, Texas. So it was a play on that name, Webb Chapel, Mutilation in the Chapel. And it was very, very much inspired by, at the time when we were writing, we were listening to a lot of Entomb, Left Hand Path, a lot of Swedish death metal was kind of in resurgence during that time. So we took elements of Swedish death metal and combined it with Texas death metal, right? Bands like Devourment, bands like Prophecy, kind of the slam style, if you will, like the early slam style. And it
Okay.
came together to be Mutilation in the Chapel. We were at the time we were signed by Morbid Generation Records out of Germany, and he released it and he distributed all over Asia, all over Europe, and all over the United States. And somehow it ended up on a Metal Injection playlist, and we were able to be heard by Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder, rest in peace, right? So he actually covered the entire album and made a review. He listed it as one of the best albums of the summer for 2017. And that was a real big highlight in our careers because we're like, holy crap, you know, like that's a major metal artist covering our music. And that was a lot of momentum we gained through that album release. We will be playing some of those songs actually at the show, at the festival, at the shows we have coming up.
That's sweet. And so, did you not expect that attention to this album? Like, it was so well received, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was not expected whatsoever. I mean, I know it was a passion project, right? So when we released it, we were like, okay, we finally have an album. But for it to receive that kind of attention was really, really awesome.
And like trying to put it in I don't know, like a perspective, how different was the band in comparison that when you were recording this album till today?
Well, we had a different drummer, you know.
Okay.
Different drummer,
One.
and we've also grown up a lot.
Yeah.
We've gotten so much more exposure to music in general.
Absolutely.
So I think the songwriting's really, really evolved and gotten a lot better. We got some pretty interesting time signature stuff going on. Like we have regular 4/4 stuff and 6/4 stuff in the newer album, which is a lot of fun to play for me. So yeah, it's really cool seeing how much different it's gotten, but it still retains that death metal sound.
Okay.
You know, it still punches pretty hard.
Yeah, we definitely learned a lot, especially since we were in high school.
Yeah,
Because when we were in high school, it was more just just playing really loud and really fast. But now, actually, we're almost like studying.
yeah,
The
it's a lot more
music.
sophisticated than it used to be.
And then now, we're just taking in all the death metal bands from before, like Sergio said, from with Entomb, and then now we're grown up a lot more as musicians. So yeah, the stuff that we're working on now is definitely a lot better.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
we're still developing.
yeah,
at all
we're
times.
still getting a lot bigger as musicians.
Yeah,
That's amazing. And I think that's kind of the point to keep moving forward, to like experience like different sounds.
yeah.
That's
You don't
pretty
want
cool.
your sound to stagnate. You know, like I feel like if you're going to be putting out material, you kind of want there to be some sort of distinguishing features and the material that you put that separates it from other stuff that you've done. And naturally it should do that.
Do you have like any favorite track that you love to play live?
Yeah. Probably Execrate. That song has a really badass black metal inspired part, and then it just goes into this really badass groove outro. That's probably one of my funnest songs to play live. Same with Apocalyptic Visions. There's like this time change that we have that we just always lock in on whenever we play it live. And it's a pretty difficult time change because it's not like modular or anything. It's just like you go from one tempo to some other tempo that's not even like mathematically related. And every time we play it live, it hits. So I have a blast with that one.
Yeah, I think I would agree. That's my favorite to play, Apocalyptic Visions. Like I said before, since I come from a
It
thrash,
has a bass solo.
that too.
Yeah, that's why
As a bass player, I have a bass solo in that. So
And
that's
so you like that's
yeah. So I get the spotlight just for a little bit.
yeah.
But it does have thrash elements, which I come from a thrash background. So it has a thrashy part that's fast, and then it goes into the slam, and it goes back to a thrash. So that's my favorite song to play live, Apocalyptic Visions.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as from Mutilation in the Chapel, I really enjoy playing. Actually, I really enjoy playing Embalmer's Lust.
That song's a jam.
Yeah,
That too.
That song's a real jam.
because it brings me back to when we first started the band. It was one of the first songs we wrote, so it was like it does seem like it was one of the first songs, right? Like, because it's all over the place, but it's really fun to play.
It's expressive.
It's expressive.
We'll call it expressive.
Okay. It's like meaningful. Well, I hope you played these songs in Aquelarre Fest. Now I know the behind.
We'll make note of
I
that
really
request.
Well, guys, so you live in Texas, right?
Yeah.
How different is the audience like in your concerts when you do it there? And what can tell you about the scene in Texas?
It's changing. It changes a lot.
It's mixed a lot.
Okay.
Seems like it kind of goes by on trends. It'll be, it might be hardcore for a long time, then it might go into a death metal scene, which is the death metal string was pretty strong when we were in high school, so
Okay.
we were doing really well there. But then it seemed like it just kind of started going down a little bit, and then it's like hardcore, and then it was like punk. So it's constantly changing, constantly.
But I think the crowd isn't really as close-minded as it used to be, because it used to be if you played death metal at a hardcore show, the hardcore fans wouldn't do anything for you. But we've played some pretty good mixed genre shows, and this could be something that really just sets us apart from other bands. But it seems like the crowd always likes what we play, regardless of what the crowd is. And I don't know if it used to be like that.
Oh my god! It's like, oh my god, Morgue Meat.
Yeah, even if they don't know who we are, or don't know our songs, but I think our songs just kick ass, and
Yeah.
that's pretty universal.
Okay, so you talk about that you will hear in Ciudad de Mexico, Guadalajara, now and Hidalgo. So how do you feel when you connect with the Mexican audience, guys?